Are you familiar with Cooper's color codes of awareness? Well, if you're not, tonight we're going to discuss how having this knowledge can keep you from being a victim. Coming right up. What's up, folks? How's it going? Welcome to another episode of the FTQ80 Tuesday night Fireside Chat. Man, I'm excited. I'm here. We got, pardon me, I forgot to put my earphones on for tonight, but there we go. We all set. So tonight we got a good show coming up tonight. You know, it's our show where we do once a month. We do safety and we do gun safety, and sometimes we do safety of all kinds. And tonight I'm excited about this one because a lot of times we go through life and we're just, going through life thinking about other things and, moving around and not really realizing that we are putting ourselves in danger. But before we get into that, I want to welcome all of you that are new to the show. If you're new to the show, and we have we got the tribe here in the comment section. We have a few people in there. We'll bring those. We'll say hello to those in a minute. But I just wanted to welcome you. If this is your first time, and if you have questions, go to the chat. You can put 4 question marks and your question. That way, we can pull it out and answer your questions as we go. This is an interactive show. We answer questions pretty much on the fly. Sometimes, if we're in the middle of something or a conversation, we have to hold it. But if you put the 4 question marks, that'll allow us to not miss your question as we go. So. With that being said, we don't have too many announcements tonight. We had a lot of things going on over the weekend. I went to get some certifications done. The guys, last Tuesday held it down for me until I got back into town. And I just want to bring on my co-host. He's sitting in the green room waiting to come on, and he's been talking to you guys in the chat already. So I just wanted to bring him on, Mr. Weapon XYZ, as he chugged his drink. I don't know what he was drinking, but he was chugging. What's going on, dude?
What up?
Oh, not much, man. Man, it's been a day. It's been a day. Today was election day.
Man.
I hope everybody got out and vote today.
Absolutely.
For their respective people. I hope you voted with your conscience and with your heart. So, and no one can tell you what those things are. So, and if they try, they're dead ass wrong. So, but anyway, moving on. Weapon, who we got in the chat, man? Who we got? What tribe is in the chat right now, man?
We got Danny Zuko. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Danny? Hey, Danny was here early, man. I messed up and
I know.
I put the show an hour early, man. My bad, guys. But it's great to know that you guys would be here, even if we had to shift the time. So, what's up, Danny? Thanks for coming, man. Who else we got? Weapon.
We got Dekine in the house.
Dekine.
Jinx. We got Hawkeye. Whoop.
Hawkmeister, always here in alert. Thank you for coming, sir.
Absolutely. Dark Dav in the house.
Dark Dav. Yeah, he's been on it. Mr. Vino.
Ancient Order.
What's going on, Ancient Order? Good to see you, man. Zex.
You can't give Ancient Order. You can't give Ancient Order a trumpet sound. Everybody's gonna want one.
Timing is everything, isn't it?
We got Zex and Ancient Order in the house, and I already introduced you guys, but thanks for coming.
All right, guys, thanks for coming. Man, we have an excellent show. We might have a few people rolling in tonight. But Weapon, if you don't mind, if you could put the link for the guests into the chat. Well, that way, if anybody wants to join us, if they have something they need to say or want to say directly, whether it be by video or audio, they can come on in. Guys, when you come into the green room, we'll know you're there so we can bring you on. Give me 1 second. I just need to read an emergency message I got here. Okay, cool. It's just one of those things. Life goes on, and sometimes when we're live, we get messages that we have to take right away. So,
Ancient Order does say, nice hat.
oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. This is one of the ones I got since I am now an official firearms instructor for the USCCA, and today I was onboarded as an official partner. So I am an official partner and firearms instructor for USCCA, and this weekend I took care of knocking down the NRA certification. So, guys, the classes will be coming abound, and as much as I can throw at you guys, I will, because there's a lot of perks out there that I can share with you guys. So I'm definitely the guys that hang on and grow with us. I'll definitely be doing what I can to share the information.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, but that's going
to
have.
We had a last intro here. We got Just Want to Shoot in the house.
What's up? Just Want to Shoot. Good to see you, man.
And then we had a quick question from Zex. So my thoughts on the SC19 frame. I dig it, dude. I like it. It's an affordable Strike 80 option for the time until Strike 80 gets what they're doing and releases 100% and starts making more 80s. But with that being said, I have heard about some rail fitment issues with the SCT19s, which, we're all familiar with that already. We all know what we're doing when it comes to our rails, having to mess with fitment and polishing and leveling and stuff. So it shouldn't be that much of an issue. I did have it actually was brought up on Reddit earlier, which some of you may know. I'm a mod there. I'm also very, very active on there as well. But somebody had brought up keeping SCT19s and daggers and stuff out of that sub there. I say let it buck, dude. If you're building it, a build is a build, whether it's a 80% or 100.
They want to keep it out because it's 100% frame.
Yeah, like, I want to please stop showing those SCT19s. It's 100%. It takes no skill to make and blah blah. And I'm like, listen, I know plenty of factory made frames out there that all require fitment. Almost everything's going to require fitment because it's not OEM from Glock, from their factory. It's an aftermarket frame with an aftermarket slide, with aftermarket parts. It's all, at some point in time, something's going to require some sort of fitment. I made a joke there. I'll make the joke here. One-legged strippers are probably the funnest to watch, right? But two-legged strippers are fun too. That's a bad 80% pun.
I ain't never heard that one before, man.
That's a I just came up with it. That's why. It's a bad 80% pun.
Lord have mercy. Anyway, Danny Zuko said that he noticed that some of the SCTs have the same droop as the Strike, and it wouldn't surprise me, man.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yep.
They have yet to say who actually makes the frame. Yes, SCT is the company that has them, just the same as Strike 80 had them, but Polymer 80 made theirs. But somehow they duplicated the frame. But anyway, we're not going to speculate on that. We're just going to go ahead and yes, we love our strippers. Jesus, where is this show going? Oh, Lord have mercy. Anyway,
great analogy.
Leave it
just saying.
Leave it to the tribe to make sure that happened. Anyway, and leave it to Weapon XYZ to get it started.
That's how I roll.
But anyway, guys, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the night, because it's probably going to take us the majority of the show to really dig into what we're talking about tonight. And again, if this is your first time here, if you have any questions about anything that we discuss, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. Or if you're watching this on a replay, put your questions in the comments Weapon and I are always paying attention to the comments, and we answer any questions that come up. We even respond to any comments that come up. So if you got good comments, bad comments, doesn't matter. Put it. It's all good for us. We definitely want to hear what you have to say. So
yes, type things. Do it now. Hit the thumbs up.
Why are you all in the screen, my dude? Like you said, smash that thumbs up button. If you think you might get some value here, go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to our other channel as well. FTQ 80% channel currently in pre-launch. Next week, before we get into what we're talking about, next week, guys. Next week we will be live on the new channel. Okay, so if you're not registered there yet, or if you're thinking about subscribing over there, realize starting next week, that's where the show is going to be. So if you want, I am putting the address in the chat so you can just click on it if you have not made your way over there yet. So you can subscribe, so you can keep up with what's going on. We're loading up things every day, starting not tomorrow, but starting on Friday. I'll be loading up videos there every day, recaps of all the shows we've had here, all of the information, the good stuff, because it will disappear off of this channel and be over on that channel over there. So if you ever want to go back and an abbreviated version and just get the meat and potatoes, it'll be over there. So all right, let's get down to business. We're talking about Cooper's color codes of awareness. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't always know about these color codes of awareness, just like I didn't always, wasn't always inundated with the Second Amendment or building in general. It's one of those things that if someone doesn't tell you, you don't know. So, but we live it every single day from the time we're born. We're living by these codes that we don't even know. But knowing them can actually keep you from being a victim, and it can actually save your life. So I guess let's start at the beginning. The color codes of awareness, they were originally developed by the United States Marines and the Pacific during World War II. Or in the Pacific during World War II, little typo there, to help mentally conditioned Marines to prepare them for an attack. The color codes were later modified by Colonel Jeff Cooper for use in educating civilians to help us to become more aware of our surroundings and to not only prepare for violent attacks, but if possible, to avoid them in the first place. And as you can see, his advice isn't for everyone. It's primarily for legally armed citizens who refuse to be victims. But everyone can absolutely use this system. So let's talk about what's the first color code. First color code is condition white. Now, condition white, your situational awareness is at its lowest. All right. So you don't think anything bad's going to happen. Yeah, you're oblivious to what's going on around you. What's the most thing that you can think of right now, Weapon X, that would make people in public in condition white, unaware of things?
Not paying attention to where you're going, not paying attention to what's around you. Somebody could easily, if you're walking, say, on a dark street at night down an alley, somebody could easily come up behind you and you would have no clue. Yeah.
Now, if you see the girl in the picture, she's sitting in her house. She's in condition white. Most of the time, we're in condition white when we're home. Okay, we're we're watching TV, playing video games, whatever. Condition white because we feel safe. Most people are in condition white when they feel safe. They're at work. They really don't have to worry about what's going on around them. In some cases you do because you never know who's walking through that door. But that's when most people are in condition white. When you're sleeping, you're in condition white because you're not actively paying attention. And all of that is fine. It's fine, but it's not fine when you're walking through a park and you're daydreaming. And as you can see, the young lady in the picture now, she has shadows behind her, all these trees, people could be hiding. when you're walking through the streets, it's probably not a good idea to be in condition white. As you can see, look here, all of these people, you got one guy getting ready to get hit by a car. Somebody walking across a midsection intersection. She's got 6 people around her, and I guarantee you she don't know what either one of those people look like. Somebody could hit her over the head. She don't have a clue. My dude in the top right, he's got a coffee in one hand, a cell phone in the other, strolling down the street. Now, most people feel safe, but especially in broad daylight, but you never know what could happen. And then go ahead, Weapon. You was about to say something?
Yeah.
Then you got these people. he's got his headphones on. He's in the train station. Train comes in, he can't hear anything anyway, but what if somebody comes behind him, hit him upside the head, stab him, shoot him, whatever? He would have zero clue. And to me, what that says is, and this guy's at night, same deal, got the headphones on. Now he can't see and he can't hear.
Yep, I wear a set of Beats headphones when I take the dog for a walk at night. Mm-hmm. And I've got a set of wireless around the ear. Not over the ear, but a hook around the ear style. And I have to keep one of them out when I'm walking at night.
Absolutely.
I don't keep them both in. Or if I keep them both in, I have one, askew hanging out. So I've got a nice peripheral hearing.
Yeah, I do the same thing when I'm walking through the neighborhood. When I'm, walking, I always have one earbud. I just can't. If you're taking away your senses, we need all these 5 senses. Touch, smell, hear, speaking. What's the 5th one? I always forget the 5th one. Smell. If you take away your senses, you take away part of your ability to assess your area. And unfortunately, in today's society, that's what we see all the time. People walking around, living in a perpetual state of white, when that is what criminals actually look for. Criminals actually, they know, they assess before they choose a victim. Most times, unless it's a crime of passion or a crime of opportunity, they have already assessed their situation. Just like the guy upstate New York, he reconned where he wanted to go. He knew there was going to be only old people not paying attention, people going on living their lives. Nobody paid any attention to him there. It was only after the fact that people say, yeah, I did see him a couple of days before, or I did think something was funny, but they didn't listen to their sixth sense. There's a great book by an author called Gavin DeBecker. It's called Gift of Fear. And he talks about how your intuition is real. If you ever had that thought of, man, I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I should have listened to myself, or I felt like something wasn't right, that's your intuition. And in most cases, people ignore it, especially if they're living in a stage of white. Especially these ones here, man. They're on the phone and got their headphones on. So they done took their sight and their hearing away, and they're prime victims, man. So, and if you're armed, you should never be in condition white. Ever should be in condition white. What does Sarge say? But at the same token, you take away one of your senses, it could heighten others. It depends on the person. Absolutely. Yep. I agree. Absolutely. But the one sense I don't think you should take is your sight and your hearing, because you can't hear somebody coming up behind you. And at night, you really can't see. I know in my neighborhood, I can't see hardly anything when I'm walking around, and when I'm driving, it's even worse. So, but anyway, absolutely, always condition mustard. And that takes us to the next one. Yes.
You see the lights? You see the lights here? What color is that? I'm always yellow. Always condition yellow.
I started to put yellow on in the background, but it I couldn't tell what it wasn't a good yellow. But absolutely, Sarge, always condition mustard. Yellow, whatever you want to call it, you're aware and alert. This should be the baseline for your environment. This should allow you to observe, someone or something is out of place. We always talk. I actually meant to put a slide about the OODA loop, and that was That was the funniest thing I heard. The OODA loop is OODA, and it stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. So in this condition yellow, that's where you are. You're in the condition of observing what's going on. You're orienting yourself to your surroundings. So if something should go on, you decide what you're going to do, and then you act upon it. And that kind of goes through all of the conditions that we're going through today. But you should really be in this condition at all times, especially when in public, when you're aware of what's going on in the immediate vicinity. Anything you needed to offer and add to that, Weapon?
No, it's just being aware of your surroundings, looking for things that, like you said, things that are out of place. Maybe somebody acting a certain way, being super fidgety. Looking around, trying to see if there's anybody around. Yep. Just be on alert. Be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, absolutely. Then add disrupt. Absolutely. You have basically, to me, I've always been in some type of security phase or anything, but I learned a long time ago, one, never sit with your back to a door. Okay. Because if anything should happen, especially if you're with your family, if something's coming through that door, you should be the first to see it.
Even at a restaurant, I don't like sitting on the inside of a booth. I always like being on the outside of a booth.
Outside and facing the door.
Typically with one leg hanging out.
Yeah.
Just it was a martial arts conditioning thing.
Yeah, if you see something coming through the door.
I always sit in a chair with one leg kind of off to the side so I can easily pivot and get up.
Yeah, see, you just like tripping waitresses, man.
Well, that's just the perk.
That's just the perk. Oh man, but yeah, so condition yellow. Condition yellow. Always get your baseline for where you are. Figure out where the exits are. Figure out where your cover is. If something should happen, where are you going to duck and cover? You know what I'm saying? Where are you going to move your family? And if you do see something coming in, if you see something or someone around, you see somebody that's out of place, that's clearly out of place, they come into a sports bar and they look mad, they got a trench coat on, or they looking around, sizing up the place, they're actively looking for the exits, and then you see another one come in, because there's usually going to be more than one. You know what I mean? So you definitely want to utilize that. You got the plus one rule. Look for a potential second threat. So that basically is the yellow. Be aware, be alert.
Same as always having an exit strategy.
Yeah,
an
exit
strategy. Route of some sort.
Develop those habits.
If you enter a building, you always make sure you know where at least two exits are, two ways to exit that building.
Absolutely.
Whether it be a window, a back door, a front door, a side door, a basement window. If you're in a department store, it's important to possibly know where the back rooms are. I mean, most of the department stores I shop at, I happen to have a pretty good knowledge of where most of the back rooms are. If I need to duck behind cover or get somewhere and collect myself before I go to engage a potential threat, if that need would ever present itself, I know what to do, and I'm not just putting myself out in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was doing security, nightclub security, and at this time I knew nothing about the color codes of awareness. I knew cover your ass. That's basically what I knew. And, most of the time I was the boss, I was the cooler. So I would position the guys in position where they could always see two people, and you could always be seen by two people, your coworkers. And we always kept our eyes on the doors. We were always positioned where the doors that if anything should happen, we had ways to get people out. You know what I mean? Whether it's the patrons or the bad guys. So, it's kind of the same thing. You live in a perpetual state of yellow, or as Sarge put it, mustard. So, but let's move on to the next the next condition. The next condition is orange. And well, I'm sorry, let me back up. If you are armed, you must be in condition yellow at all times. Okay, and we'll explain a little more about that when we get to condition red. But always, always, always be in condition yellow if you are carrying a firearm of any kind. Now, condition orange, heightened awareness. All right, this is when you realize something may be wrong. Okay, and you may be in danger. You may be in danger, or others may be in danger, and you pick up on it because if you're in a state of yellow, you realize when something has shifted. You realize when when because you're paying attention to the baseline shift, you're prepared and you're positioned to take action. You look for that potential second threat, as I said before, the +1 rule. You definitely are the one.
If anybody else here is familiar with the term wargaming, so you're wargaming your possible reactions. What's your next move? How do you engage the threat? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? What's your cover strategy? How many threats are there? Essentially, ready to act.
Absolutely. And this is where where people fall at, because they don't have an exit strategy. They don't have an idea of what they would do, and they find themselves in condition black, which is what we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But they don't know where they're going to go, how they're going to act. And learning these things made me say to myself as a father, I'm like, man, I didn't prepare my daughters that well. They can handle themselves. They know how to run or fight. Get away, but I probably could have prepared them a little better, had I known these sooner.
As Sarge said, in the military, it was condition orange is if you're on duty, military deployed to combat zones, because you're always in orange.
Yeah,
there's always a potential threat around every corner for those guys. Our boys overseas, boys and women overseas.
Absolutely, I agree, Sarge. It's just. And I'm hoping that we either we have some new people in here, or anybody that didn't know this information, or somebody's watching on the replay, because at some point we all need to learn these things. And I'm actually going to post up the brochure that I had. Actually, Weapon sent it to me, so people can print it out and they can keep it, and they can teach their family, what these conditions are, so they can live in those conditions instead of living in white all the time. It's not being paranoid. People say, well, you're just being paranoid. No, I'm not being paranoid. I'm just aware of what could happen. Don't walk around scared. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying walk around scared of your shadow and everybody's got something against you. But you got to realize that there are bad people out there that do bad things, and you have to be aware that they could be coming after you. The worst thing you could say is, that won't happen to me. And I'm talking to you big 6'5" muscle bound dudes as well, because just because you're big and bad don't mean that you can't be a victim. With little old ladies and young girls that with not as much muscle, they're not always the victim. I've been a victim. My situational awareness was way off. You know what I mean? It most of you don't know, but I got shot because I had an ego.
Darth Dav said, "Are you paranoid enough?"
Yeah.
A little bit's not bad, man. At least having some. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's saved my life a few times in my past. I was, as many of you know, was not a very good dude, but I was attempting to do a drug deal when I was younger. Before I turned my life around, and I was meeting up with some guys that I had never met before in an alley. I went into the situation in condition orange. I didn't know these fucking guys. I never met them from Adam. So I went in condition orange. A knife was pulled. I took about 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches of a steak knife to the chest. because I went in condition orange, I was able to react fast enough to where I was able to grab the hand to keep it from going all the way in. And I was able to defend off both of my attackers and walked away from the situation with just a few stitches in my chest by the local medical, not the hospital. That's not how we did it in my neighborhood. You just had that local person. You'd go to their house and be like, I got hurt, because I'm not going to the fucking hospital for something like that.
Yeah.
Stay aware, stay alert, and it depends on the situation that you're going into. You know, I'm sure Rams will discuss that here too.
Well,
yeah.
I didn't even have the benefit of going in condition orange, dude. I went in condition white all the way. Why? Because I underestimated the guy that we were going up against. I got a phone call, and I went to the situation. Knew the guy had a gun when I went to the situation. And you guys can call me stupid all you want. I've already called myself stupid for the last 15 years. But I went because I didn't think the guy had heart. And I went to back a friend up. And while there, the guy pulled the gun. I still had my hands in my pockets. My friend got shot twice. It wasn't until the second shot, because the first shot I just figured dude missed. Still, hands in my pockets. I wasn't listening to my fear or anything. Actually, I didn't have any fear. I wasn't scared at all, which was a mistake. I should have been. I could have lost my life. When my friend got shot the second time, I saw this one go through his arm, and I went to push him out of the way. When I went to push him out of the way, the guy turned to me, I guess in shock, because I actually moved, because I wasn't moving at that point. So I wasn't even a threat to him, but I guess he got shocked because I actually moved. He turned, boom, pulled the trigger, hit me in the stomach. Spent 27 days in the hospital and 2 surgeries later. So it was at that point, and I owned a gun. I just didn't think I needed it. That was a mistake. That could have cost me my life. I was in condition white the whole way. I'll never be in condition white again outside this house. And half the time I'm in condition orange when I'm in the house. Yeah. But, you know, it's just those things you don't think about. You think it can't happen to me. And that day I was thinking it can't happen to me. It won't happen. I had been through a lot. I had faced down guys with guns before and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if it was ego or I just had no fear. Didn't scare me. I came from an area where gunshots were all the time. You know, my dad moved us out of that, but I went back to it when I was of age. I went back down into the city. Never scared me, guys. So I was living in perpetual white most of my life. Not again, never again. But anyway, so if you're watching this, man, just think about it. You know, how are you living your life? Are you living in white, yellow, or orange? Orange is not bad, but you know, definitely don't be in white unless you're home, you're relaxing, you sleep, and even then, do an orange scan around the house. You know, make sure all the windows are locked, the doors are locked. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, how many people in the chat? Let me see in the chat. How many people before you go to sleep?
Sarge said you were in condition. You didn't know fuck about shit.
Yeah, I agree, dude. I can't even argue. I can't argue. I got the scars to prove it. I can't even argue, man. Can't even argue. You know, how many people, you know, show me in the chat, how many people go through the house, make sure all the doors are locked, all the windows are locked, and alarms on at the end of the day. Some people do it as soon as they go in the house.
Twice, man. I do at least 2, and I've got 1 fucking door. I live in an apartment building. I still do about 2 perimeters around the apartment before I go to bed.
Dude, I have a garage door.
Feel safe too.
I have a garage door, I have a front door and a back door. The back door and the outside garage door are dead bolted. I still go out there and make sure that I ain't been out that door in years. But I always go out there and make sure it's locked. Make sure the garage door is locked, and then the door to come into the house has a double lock. Back door.
Additionally, for me at night, I have the front door security cam on my apartment here. Only one in my building I've seen, which you're welcome.
Yeah.
So, another thing I check before I go to bed at night is either my phone or my wife's phone not on silent, so we're able to hear that alert for the front door.
I was watching
if it would be, obviously I have settings, so I have it set to where if it's somebody standing there for more than 10 seconds, it'll alarm. I'll get a slight tone if somebody walks by, but I'll get an alarm if somebody's standing there for more than 10 seconds.
Yep. Guys, if you have not watched The Gift of Fear, it's a masterclass on YouTube by Gavin DeBecker. This thing, I mean, he interviews people. He's been around, presidents, Secret Service, Central Intelligence Agency. I'm gonna drop the link to the channel in the comment section right now, because this is stuff that everybody should watch. I believe everybody should watch this stuff because it'll bring awareness, and let you know that, fear is a gift. And give me a second. I'm posting it right now. All right. So I just posted the link. You guys can check that out after the show. But yeah, back to what we were talking about, man. It's, if you're carrying a gun, in orange, your pistol may remain holster, but you should definitely be prepared to access it. If you've got a inkling of a thought that you might be in a situation where you might need that pistol, you always should be ready to pull. You should train for it. You know what I mean? You should train for what you would do if if someone came at you from the right side, from the left side. Me as an Uber driver, I'm always thinking about, if someone grabbed me from behind, what would I do? I wouldn't have instant access to my gun because I wear it at 3 o'clock. I wish I, didn't have a belly, so I might be able to wear an appendix, but it would stab me in the gut. But, always be aware of what's going on and what you need to do to save your life, because it absolutely could save your life. But let's see, Sar says home is always in condition, spicy hot sauce. You bad if you decide to FF. Yeah, fuck around and find out. That's for sure.
I had to respond in the chat because, seen some of my bedside pals, Ram. I pity the fool.
Yeah, no doubt. I always said
I've made the joke before. Some of us, Ram knows. I have tons more hand-to-hand combat training and training with blunt and sharp objects than I do firearms. And I keep a 12.5 to 14-inch tomahawk next to my bed. If I'm somebody breaking into my home, I'm hoping to God I get to that fucking safe first. Because if I stagger and I don't get to that safe, things are gonna get wet. It's all I gotta say.
I ain't even gotta get wet. I ain't even gotta get to the safe. There's a whole lot that I can get to before having to get to the safe.
My safe is, I live in an apartment. My safe is bedside, but I got to open one cabinet to get to that. I don't got to open no cabinet to get the old choppy.
Yeah. I've always said, if somebody come in my house and they stay in my house after they see what I got in my house, because if you can see something that's a threat before you get to my bedroom, you can imagine what I have in the bedroom where I'm at. You know what I mean? I primarily don't keep anything too deadly that people could use against me if they come in the house, but everything that they could use against me, they'd have to be next to me.
Anything in my room is either up on a shelf and within reach for me if I'm getting out of bed, or it's behind a shelf or behind a dresser, not behind, but off to the side, not visible. If you were to walk in my room and look straight, the only thing that you're seeing is a bunch of nasty blades up on my wall, but you'd have to get past me to get to those. So
Yeah. Yep. But what was I gonna say? I done lost track of what I was gonna say, dude. In the gift of fear, he was telling, and guys, I've been watching a lot of this, so if I mention it a lot, it's just because it's good information. But in the gift of fear, he talked about how a woman could be dead asleep in her house, and her husband come home late, and he come in the house, slam the door, put his keys down, go take a shower, blah blah blah, come get in bed. She won't even wake up. She won't even nothing. But let that 4-month-old that's down the hall turn a doorknob that squeaks. She's awake. She's up, because our subconscious is always working. Our subconscious already knows where, when something's happening in our own house. So we know that if I'm sleeping, she's asleep, and we hear a noise, we're up. He said you can attribute to not being able to sleep in strange places because your mind is now trying to register everything around you that's not normal. So you don't.
I have a very hard time sleeping in strange places I'm not familiar with, hotel rooms. Ram, I went and did that sleep study a few weeks ago to try to get put on the CPAP, which I probably won't need now anymore. But
let's hope not.
I couldn't fucking sleep, dude. I couldn't sleep for shit. The dude's coming in the room every hour with the flashlight. Half the time I'm closed. I got my eyes closed, and I'm like, "Hey, Jim." As the door creaks open, he's like, "Oh, hey, Chad, how's it going?"
Yeah, because your mind is not used to that noise in that environment. I was in.
I grew up in a neighborhood, dude, where somebody could walk through your fucking window at any given moment in time. It happened to me a few times, and sometimes it was a crackhead, sometimes it was a friend. It was a 50-50, but boy, you better be known that you were going to hear something click. Don't care who it was coming in.
I was in Martinsville, Virginia this weekend from Thursday to Sunday, and I kid you not, I got 6-7 hours of sleep, which is more sleep than I normally get, but I didn't rest at all. I was still tired the next day, every day, till I got home and got a good night's sleep in my own bed. I was just wasted. And I'm like, why am I so tired? I slept, I got a good night's sleep, had a good dinner the night before. I just was not resting. I was sleeping, but I wasn't resting. My brain must have been on overload. So, but
I think I can attribute some of mine to I was homeless for a few years, and I slept in some weird places, dude. I slept at some parks, downtown St. Paul. I slept at some parks in some rural areas. Who knows where I was going to be sleeping the next night or what kind of people I was going to be sleeping by.
Oh, man. Well, let's talk about condition red. Now your mental trigger has been tripped. Everything that you've been putting in your mental bank is come to fruition. Everything is happening.
Go time.
It's go time. Your adrenaline's pumping, and when your adrenaline's pumping, Sarge, you can attest to this. When your adrenaline's pumping, man, things, I forget what I was listening to the book. What is the name of that book? I'm gonna have to think of the name of the book. I've just been chewing up books lately, man, going through either audio books or reading a lot of different books. But the guy was talking about, things slow down. When things slow down, your adrenaline's pumping. There've been many after action reports where police officers might say that he told a story of he was in a situation and he was wondering who the heck threw a can at him, and it wasn't a can, it was the way you call it, he was actually firing on someone, and the casings were coming past his head. He's like, they look like garbage cans or soda cans flying past his head in slow motion, and he never heard a sound. It's because our bodies, they go into, either, fight, flight, posture, submit. And, we start seeing things in different. That's why when people have different recollections of what happened at different events, you're in condition red because you're in action. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not ready for it, condition red, might not ever come. You might not engage the threat. You might, and if you're engaging the threat, absolutely. You look at that last tick, if you're engaging the threat, operate within, governing the use of force, the rules governing the use of force. Because if you have a gun and you stab somebody, if you shoot somebody that is not a threat, you can still find yourself on the wrong end of a court case.
You will very likely find yourself on the wrong end of a court case.
Yeah. And we're going to talk next month, in the month of December, or the first Tuesday in December, we'll talk about use of force. That's our next big one, use of force. And when can you use it and when can't you? So definitely tune into that. What's that? The December what? What's the date on that weapon? You don't know, just like I don't know, right?
Let
me see. I am busting out the calendar right now.
That will be the 22nd. That is correct.
The 22nd of December or the 6th of December. First Tuesday.
Oh, the first Tuesday would be the 6th. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. The 6th of December, we'll be talking about use of force and what you can and can't do in different situations. But a use of force may not be the required outcome, not income, outcome. I don't know what the heck I was typing. I was in a rush, guys. If you observe your surroundings while in condition yellow and orange, you may have a choice of fight, flight, or engage. So, but the biggest thing, if you were not paying attention, if you not the one I'm looking for. Unfortunately, if you were in condition white, and you may jump straight to condition black. Because if you weren't in orange or yellow, condition black is the next one. And in condition black, you were caught by surprise. You're unaware of your surroundings.
Frozen.
You could freeze.
Yeah.
Or if you try to fight, you could be flailing, not connecting on nothing, just even dudes that know how to fight, if they're surprised, they might not realize what to do because they haven't trained to fight in those conditions. Often people black out in a situation is due to the nervous system being overloaded with data in a short period of time. That's where when you freeze or when you faint.
I had a friend who was a boxer.
Anything.
I had a friend who was a boxer, and we went to this scuffle one night. I was probably, let's say I was 18, 19 at the time. Mm-hmm. I always got invited along to that shit because everybody in the neighborhood knew me. So it was that, if I'm with Chad, maybe I'm okay. So went to this scuffle, and, I'm thinking, dude's going to bang out with this guy. But he had never been in that kind of a fight before. He had never been in the kind of fight where he was in a circle surrounded by people. He'd always been in a fight inside of a ring, sparring with somebody else. So all of a sudden, he just fucking froze, dude. It was like all of the things in his brain just shut down, and he just got his ass stomped. She's got his fucking shit handed to him. Don't freeze. Don't lock up. If I told him about halfway through the fight, I said, dude, wake up and fight. Wake up and fight, or this dude's going to smosh you, and I'm just going to stand here and watch. I'm not jumping in to save your back. This is a one-on-one fight. You got yourself into this. Do your best to stay in an orange or red. Just don't go black, man. I think me and Ram had discussed it the other day. Code black could lead you to code dead.
Yep. Code period.
Yep. Code period.
Beep. No beep beep, just beep. You got to be aware. What Sarge say? If you're in condition orange, an ambush will push you into condition black, but falling back to what you train, if you train properly, will equal itself out. Absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely.
Some other people have different ways of referring to code black. Code black could also stand for an injured companion unable to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe both of their arms are hurt and they're unable to carry their firearm anymore. Maybe they're unable to walk or hold position. Stay frosty, man.
Have to. With that being said, man, it's just like anything, practice proactive awareness and situational transitions. Check exits, scan parking lots when you're exiting buildings or when you're pulling into parking lots, scan them. Be proactive, not reactive. When you're reactive, it might be too late. If you're going into a parking lot and if it's an underground parking lot or inside the building parking lot, and you go into this parking lot every single day, yet you go in this one day and the lights out where you normally park. Don't say, oh man, they need to fix that, and park there anyway. Listen to yourself. Man, woman, child, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're not talking about sex, size, or anything.
Yep.
It could happen to anybody.
My apartment building has a habit of leaving the garage doors open for our underground parking here. And they typically do their garbage pickups on Tuesday. And, they leave the doors open so the garbage guys can go in and haul out the dumpsters and pick them up with the lift on the truck. I'll tell you what, dude, if I see that thing open for more than an hour, guess who's getting a call? The office.
Yep.
Hey, I just want to let you guys know, the garage door was left open after the garbage guys came and picked it up. Could you please send somebody over here to take care of that and close it? I'm not letting people in. We have locked doors on the front of our building for a reason. And that's so the people that live here can get in and out. We have key codes on the garage doors for underground parking for a reason. So that only the people that live here can get in and out. You're just leaving the garage doors wide open and inviting anybody in. I'm not okay with that. And that's, part of the code yellow or could even be considered a code orange. I noticed something and I acted upon it. Whether that was me doing it or me contacting somebody to do it. But just be aware of what's going on around you.
Absolutely. Oh, the book that I was, give me 1 second. I was actually just typing it in here, and it goes
What's up, Monty?
To, what we were just talking about, about being aware. And the name of the book is Spotting Danger Before It Spots You. It's by Gary Quisenberry. That's a very, 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 very good book. I listened to it. It's about 3 hours long. If you listen on Audible or, wherever you can find it on Audible, it's definitely, I don't know if I could have read through it, but it was definitely interesting
very
to listen
heavy.
to. Yeah, it's very word heavy and situation heavy. It's one of those books that when you listen to it and it's, narrated by the author. So, he knows where the inflections are and so on and so forth, but it definitely puts your mind into an area of, being aware, spotting that guy around the corner that just ducked back that you might have missed before, that you might have said, did I just see something over there? You know what I'm saying? When that somebody was just standing there, or you feel the back, the hairs raise up on the back of your neck. That's your body responding to stimuli that's outside. That's not conscious. So
sometimes you just gotta trust your gut, even if you don't see something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know there's been a few times I've been in situations where I was went in code yellow, and then something just in the back of my mind is maybe a series of things playing out around me, but all of a sudden something in my body went code orange. Something's fucking going on. I don't know what's about to happen, but something's about to happen.
Yep. Yeah, Sarge said, talked about shooting on duty where ambushed live. That's longer. Yeah. Experience tunnel vision. Yeah, it happens. It's a real thing. It's you just got auditory exclusion, yeah. So, guys, it's just basically would come down to the fact that there are codes, there are, and here's the thing. A lot of criminals, they may not know orange, white, yellow, black, red, but they are observant. They know when people are easy victims. If you're walking and your head is held high and you're You know, you looking, your head is on a swivel, and you know you're aware of your surroundings. You look like you can handle yourself. You might be a daggone teddy bear, but if
Yep.
you look like you could hurt something, 9 times out of 10 they're not going to choose you. But if you look feeble and you're not paying attention, you have the headphones on like I have right now. You know, I'm in a state of white because I'm on the show with you guys, but my wife's in a state of orange in the next room. You know what I'm saying? If something happens, I'll know about it. But
Yep.
but if you're walking around in public like you could be a victim, there's a high chance that you will be at some point. And if you're not, you're not. That's great. Again, it's not about being paranoid. It's about being aware and being self-reliant and protective of yourself and the people around you and your family. Because if you're with your family, guys, girls, women, men, if you're with your family and you're not aware of what's going on, you're so inundated by what you're doing, gotta get better than that.
What? Walk around like you own the place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I've stayed out of fights.
Like Mel said, he was told the same thing years ago when he worked with some work release inmates for a summer. Look sure of yourself and not afraid of the environment, and they most likely will not fuck with you. Earbuds and headphones are mugger magnets. Yeah. You know, another thing, to add into the criminals knowing the color codes. Criminals mark victims sometimes, especially some of your home invasion robbers, doorknobs, homes. I know back in my heyday, I won't get into specifics, but I knew a group of dudes that would mark their victims' front yards with we call them edging markers. So here in the north, we get snow. So most people have to put in construction sticks in their yard to mark out where their driveway ends. So if they have a snow plow or a shoveling service that comes in and does their driveways, they don't end up shoveling up yard. Well, I knew a group of dudes that would go around during the winter and they would put a single one of those on the corner of somebody's driveway. And that was to mark to come back to that house later because they had been observing that house and noticed that the people in the house were on code white all the time. TV's on, music's blaring, the windows are all wide open. Couple of little kids and a wife and a father. So be on alert. Look out for stuff like that too. Look out for things that are out of place. Something that may be sitting in your yard that wasn't there before, or sitting on the doorknob of your car, or a key out of place, or a doorknob out of place, or a window out of place. Just keep your head on a swivel. Stay alert. Keep looking for stuff. Criminals know, and they know how to alert other criminals of what code your family may be in, or you may be in a situation where they may want to take advantage.
Absolutely. They watch. They know when something's going on.
Yeah.
If you live in a security building,
sex trafficking rings will actually mark their marks cars.
Oh yeah, they put
some sort of an item, depending on which what it is, whether it be a tie on your
a tie. They've been putting ties on rear doors because they
ties
know most
on rear
people
doors.
don't look at their rear doors. They put it on the rear door on the passenger side where you're less likely to see it because most people don't do it once around their car. They come to their car, go to the driver's side door. They don't even see that there was a wire tie on their doorknob in the back on the passenger side. Yeah, Mr. Vino, don't get complacent in your environment. Too many of us do.
My wife gets freaked out because I can walk our apartment in pitch black. And that's because I know where everything is. If something's out of place and I touch it with my leg, something's not right. Something's not right in my apartment. Somebody moved something they shouldn't have moved.
Oh, yeah. I can always tell if I walk in the house and something's different. I know it immediately.
Yep.
I can feel it. I'm like something's not right.
Yep.
My daughter
That
comes
wasn't
to
here
visit.
before.
My daughter comes to visit. I know exactly what she moved at all times. I'm like,
Yep.
Ray, was
Something's out of place. My little toe
Yeah.
finds it in the dark for sure. For sure, Mike. I don't even need my sense of sight at that point in time in the dark. You know, I know we've all discussed it, and I know most of us know. Most of your engagement in a home defense situation is going to be point and shoot. There's not going to be any time to line up fucking sights. There's not going to be time to flip on your fucking flashlight. Know your surroundings, know your environment. Be ready to react.
Agreed. Well, I think it's about that time, guys. It's 11:02. And I think we've had a pretty good freaking discussion. You got anything you want to leave the tribe with tonight, Weapon?
You know, all of us here have plenty of information, plenty of things that we've learned. Just make sure you're passing this stuff on to each other. Make sure you're teaching your family and friends. Try to keep some of your family and friends from becoming victims. Some of your family and friends may not want the help or may not want to listen. You don't have to force them, but at least slip it in there a little bit. Give them some hints. Help them out a little bit. You know, the old saying, you can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. But you can do some things.
Yeah, man, I agree. There's so many things out there that could get us. Don't let it be our own minds. Don't let us, be a victim of our own creation. You know, if we're not paying attention, it's our fault. It's completely our fault. No one can take advantage of us if we don't put ourselves. Like Weapon said, pass this stuff along, guys. Pass it on to everybody that might be living in condition white. Because if they're living in condition white, I'm sorry, but the chances go up that you're going to be a victim. So with that being said, guys, we're going to say goodnight. We thank you for being here. We love you. We'll see you next week.